All right, welcome to another Waypoint video. This one is about the time period between May 15th and the 20th-ish. So in these videos, of course, we speak to collective themes that will likely be moving through the collective during certain periods of time. And again, this isn't prescriptive. This is an invitation to get curious about how what's going on a larger scale may be showing up as an invitation or a gift or a challenge on your own individual path. So we're in conversation between ourselves and the something bigger that's going on in the space. So this one points to what in human design we would call gate 8 in the gene key system, which is an evolution of human design. It would be the 8th gene key. And really, the invitation that's coming in is to look at themes around authenticity, contribution, the fulfillment that comes from freedom of expression, and really getting curious about where we are consciously or unconsciously conforming and calling that success versus where we are sort of rebelling from a heart-centered place, from a deeper truth place against, I don't like the word against. We're we're rebelling against a culture that has taught conformity. There are many systems and structures that have shown us that the way to stay safe, the way to generate income, the way to have relationships that matter on the transactional level requires us to leave our authentic selves at the door. And everything I do around here is a loving challenge to that because it is my belief that true abundance, meaning creating a human ecosystem where every human is able to bring their unique perspectives, their unique gifts, their unique energies to the mix, actually allows us to meet some of the greatest challenges we face with the greatest resourcefulness, with the greatest abundance, with the greatest energy. So, something I've said for a long time is we often can sell ourselves on what I call a bold beige life. And what I mean by that is it's beige. We're conforming. We're defining success by what somebody else modeled, told us, or said we should do. And a lot of people I work with, they have this sense of, I've checked the boxes, whatever it might be. I've earned the status, I've had the impact, I've done the things, I've gotten the awards, I've made the money, whatever it is, and I still don't feel successful. I don't feel fulfilled. And a lot of times that's because someone has been chasing the story of the bold beige life, this very narrow sense of what it means to be successful or to matter in this world. And so this transit, this waypoint is about getting curious about where you've been investing your time and your energy into things, whether it's a relationship, a job, a role, an identity, a story you tell yourself that actually isn't authentically yours. And to start to play with pushing on the edges of the boxes you've been taught to live within. So I want to name that there's lots of neurological stuff going on when I have this conversation. It's not something where it's just easy to say, oh, I'm gonna be counterculture in order to be most authentic. There's a very real nervous system response. We are relational beings. Our neurology wants to be in safe, what feels like safe relationship with people. And however our brains have learned to define that, it will try to maintain that. So if learning to be pleasing to other people has created a sense of safety in your nervous system, it will feel challenging to have people judge or misunderstand you. You know, there's things that come up. So I want to name that because I think some people hear these personal growth or leadership conversations and have some self-judgment or shame around not being fully expressed. And I want to say that this is a practice, like shoehorns. I know nobody really uses them anymore, but we're stretching little by little, breath by breath, bringing more of our authentic selves to our lives. And I think life is all a journey about remembering who we really are and peeling away the layers of who we learned we should be. And not only is it challenging and scary, real fear comes up at times, but on the other side of that, the leadership invitation that you become when you lead more authentically is just walking into a space, being really who you are to the best of your ability in that moment, gives an energetic message to those around you that there's like an unspoken permission slip for others to step more into who they are. When we stop living into conformity and consenting to it with our words, our actions, and our energy, we start to open doors not only for ourselves but for others. And you might want to take a moment and ask yourself, who are the most compelling people? Authentically compelling, not the people that you think you should be like, not the people who have checked more boxes than you and you think you need to climb up to their status. But if you really think about it, who are the people that could be famous artists, actors, who knows? Or it could be a neighbor down the street who every time you see them wear this kind of quirky outfit, it brings a smile to your face. Who are the people that feel good to your system? Who are the people that feel like a natural permission slip for you to be more you? Not that we need to rely on other people to give us permission. That is in no way what I'm saying. But I think there are places, there are life contexts where we naturally start to unfurl a bit. We naturally start to feel, we naturally start to be more who we actually are, whether that's wildly quirky or letting your full radiance and intelligence and um, humor, whatever it might be, come out. So think this is a time to think about the parts and pieces of you that perhaps weren't validated or recognized in your early life or in significant relationships, and getting curious about where they're trying to come out already or where they want to come out and play. Because authenticity is going to be the new currency. It already is in many ways. But with AI and things like that, it is my belief that true human diversity, meaning bringing your unique brilliance, bringing your unique energetic imprint into situations, is going to be so felt as a precious resource that it's going to be the thing that opens doors to true success. And that is not about metrics. It often will translate, but it's not the why behind it. So there's this sense of moving beyond the default path, right? Like the trail that's been really worn to go down the path less traveled, and moving beyond that default bold beige kind of mediocrity story that we're all sold, to really feel into what it is to be on the path of our unique creative intelligence and abundance, and questioning the stories we've carried around success. Often success is really projected as achievement. and that gets to be part of it. Impact matters. Having a sense of purpose in what we do, whether it's a job or a relational role or something you're creating, it matters. But really checking to make sure that the origin of where you're pointing your energy is rooted in something true for you is the invitation. And there's tons of nuance with this. We live in a culture with an economy. We need money. There are times we do things and make commitments to work within the system as it is. So I'm not inviting you to bypass that reality. I think these waypoint videos are bringing an invitation to get curious to the extent you can within your current life context. So it might not look like quitting a job and starting your own business tomorrow, but it might look like sharing a bit more of what's real for you with your partner. It might look like instead of feeling like you have to be so buttoned up at work all the time, you just soften your body and let yourself be a little bit more you. There's, again, it's that nervous system stretch to let a bit more. There is very good evidence. I've seen it in my life, and I'm sure there's research that I can't quote in this moment that when we lead our lives from that place of authenticity, it does lead to greater prosperity, abundance, connection, fulfillment, thriving, sustainability. It really does. It's just about getting out of that initial sort of velvet ditch of the comfort zone that's not that comfortable. It's only comfortable because culture has validated it. And once we get out of that and can be a bit more of our uniquely passionate and purposeful selves, um, it opens doors that we didn't even know could be available. So that's what I want to offer is if you didn't need the money, if you weren't scared, if you had full spaciousness and trust in your true self, who would you be? What would you say? What would you do? What would you immediately stop doing? What would you wear? What would you listen to? What wouldn't you shut off when you're around certain people? What would feel like freedom where you didn't have to manage yourself and your optics in the world? That's the question we get to sit with in this phase. And if you have someone in your life that you can have this conversation with, somebody who's really safe for you, ask them what they see in you that perhaps they don't think you're as aware of. Sometimes we need other people to reflect back our special sauce. It's so obvious we're swimming in it and we don't even see that it's a thing we could bring more of intentionally into the world. So, have the conversation first with yourself, with others in your life, and see how you can bring more you into all of your life, but especially the relationships and areas that matter most.